Welcome to Digital Nation, your weekly whip round of the best of local TV. Whether it's a singing star's hidden talent for art or a wedding inspired by a galaxy far, far away, we reveal the things you don't normally see anywhere else. This week, we visit a baker who's bringing traditional Danish pastry to the streets of Cardiff. We hear from an enthusiastic group of reenactors who are keeping the spirit of Dad's Army alive. And we jump aboard a sled dog race in Scotland. Loving local? Then let us know what you think by using the hashtag #DigitalNation. First up tonight, we head to the Scottish capital, where a group of primary school children have been getting up close and personal with a menagerie of creatures as part of a programme of animal therapy. Combining fun and learning, this special initiative provides encounters with snakes, meerkats, hedgehogs and more.
What benefits is there for children with autism and adults with autism or anxiety that they get from the therapy with animals?
The animals can bring a certain calmness to the situation. If the person's an animal lover and loves animals, they're going to be interested, so they're focusing on the animal, they're forgetting about what else is around about them. That can ease it out. Just the feelings and the textures, there's so many things visually, they're great fun to watch. There's all sorts of different benefits that can fit in. They are quite relaxing.
Scratchy like a cat's claws.
It smells like meerkat poo!
It smells like meerkat poo, oh.
Well, autism is a condition that affects social interaction and communication and behaviour and sensory integration, as well as people's interests and behaviour, so it's quite a complex condition to have. The animals are not putting on any social pressure like a human does. Having the animal there encourages that motivation to communicate with other people.
This Josie was little.
Yeah, and how does Josie feel?
Happy.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It is soft. It's soft. Yes.
Is there any particular reason why you brought the animals that you brought today?
So visually, they all look different. There's not one of them that's the same as the other. If you bring two things that are really fluffy, you've got the same texture twice. So breaking it up with the textures, they can feel and look and see different things on them. Watching fish, for instance. Going to the zoo, there's lots of different sides that animal therapy can fit in with. I think it's heading in a really exciting direction. I would like to see it kind of rolled out and used a lot more. Getting to kind of have that interaction could be really beneficial.
I think the children's confidence grows, and that's part of their sensory integration with having autism.
You get a lovely smile from almost every child. You're building up a relationship with them, even though you're not here that often. And you can see the excitement and you can hear the excitement and the buzz about the place, especially from the kids. That's the rewarding part. You can see the kids are getting so much out of it.
As far as goals go, raising the Titanic is a big one. But that's what a powerlifting team in Manchester have set their sights on by pooling their collective strength to lift the equivalent weight in aid of charity. That's Manchester warms up and heads to the gym to meet the focused and determined group taking on one almighty challenge.
Nearly 24,000 tonnes. That's the weight of the Titanic. It's also how much a group of powerlifters are hoping to lift when they attempt to raise the Titanic in aid of charity. It's a challenge devised by Scott Britton. He originally planned to take on the task solo, but he was quickly shot down by friends.
I've known Scott for 10, 15 years and I know how bad his maths are. And I think he massively underestimated the scale of the task. He said, "Oh, I can do this in a day on my own." And then we kind of went, "No, you can't." And then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. So, and then it went from 1 to 10 to 50 to 200 people. So it's a big monumental task he has given us.
Okay, I'm going to need a group of people. A small group suddenly evolved, and then it's got to more and more and more, and we've actually worked out how we could officially do it. We're going to need sort of 400 people. So it came from a bit of a silly idea of thinking I could do it to myself. It's a big idea.
The plan is to fill the Olympic gym in Eccles with up to 400 lifters. Between them, they'll attempt to lift the equivalent weight of the Titanic.
Also, really creepily, we're doing it on the 16th of April, and it turns out the Titanic sunk on the 15th of April, so it's a bit of a weird coincidence that we're trying to pick it back up when it sunk the day before. But it's just something visually heavy that people would know, oh my God, this thing is really heavy, and everyone taking part is going to have a mammoth effort just to try and pick this huge thing up.
Truly authentic cuisine is sometimes hard to come by, and often it takes someone with the necessary know-how to redress the balance. Over in Cardiff, the owner of a Danish bakery has made it her mission to bring real-life Danish pastries to the people of Wales. Alex Richards from Made in Cardiff dons her apron and heads to the kitchen.
This cake is probably the one that really made me want to start this bakery, because when people have offered me a Danish pastry, which is what you guys see as the Danish pastry, it doesn't taste like how it's supposed to be, and I always felt slightly cheated. So really that cake is probably the reason why I started this bakery, just to prove a point that that's how it's supposed to taste like. We're spending a lot of time getting the recipes right. We're following all the Danish traditional ways of doing it from scratch. Pastry dough is a very fine layered dough of margarine and pastry dough itself. Yeah. We use this machine over here to layer it, which is quite a long process. So there's actually quite a lot of work gone into making a Danish pastry, because you got so many different parts of making it.
Planning a wedding can be a stressful time, and once you've got the bridal gown sorted, there's the tricky task of choosing the groom's attire. But when the happy couple are obsessive Star Wars fans, there's only really one choice. The force is strong with Mustard TV as they join in the planning of this very special intergalactic occasion.
As any engaged couple will tell you, there's lots to do when planning a wedding. There's the venue to pick, a menu to decide on, seating plans, rings, dresses. But for these Norwich Star Wars fans, Shelley and Andy, who have 2 daughters, they're doing things a little bit differently. Andy will be tying the knot dressed as a stormtrooper. And there's only one date in the calendar they could go for.
When we were deciding the date for the wedding, because we're such big Star Wars fans, somebody kind of jokingly suggested the May the 4th, which is the Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you. And we kind of laughed and went, yeah, that sounds good.
It'd certainly be one we're going to remember. So there's no excuse now for the future anniversaries, things like this. And, if I forget, I'm going to be in big trouble.
It was actually Shelley's idea for Andy to wear his stormtrooper gear that he wears when part of the Norwich Star Wars Club. His wedding suit may be a little out of the ordinary, but it's still a day they're taking very seriously.
We're not going to discount other people's feelings, but we just wanted to do it for ourselves. We've both been married before, and this time we wanted to do what we want to do, and hopefully we're not going to upset too many people.
No, it's not going to be 1,000 great aunt flows that you've never heard of being invited and somebody else taking over. It's what we want to do.
Mixed in with Andy's Star Wars collection is a miniature Death Star that holds its very own secret. It's a ring box holding the wedding bands they've ordered from the States that have had the Jedi symbol laser engraved. It's all part of a wedding that's all about them and what they want to do, but might also just surprise a few people.
My mother doesn't know yet, does she?
You haven't told her. Oopsie.
She'll find out.
Sometimes good things come in 3s, or maybe 2s and 3s. And for Megan Rees, starring in a major TV show just wasn't enough. As well as being a talented singer, Megan's artistic skills extend even further, as Big Centre TV in Birmingham discovered.
Megan has always loved to sing, but it wasn't until the age of 11 she realised her potential and for the first time sang in front of her school peers. Little did she know 17 years later she'd be on the BBC's The Voice, singing in front of millions of people.
The moments before I went onto the stage were so nerve-wracking because you've always got that fear that you're going to mess up, and there are so many people that are going to watch that moment. You want it to be your best. And I don't think many contestants have felt it was their best, because it's such a strange environment to go out and sing in. But it's such a privilege to go out onto that stage. I was just focusing on exhaling and being relaxed and prepared for that moment, and doing the best that I could possibly do, really.
Megan is now through to the next phase of the competition, the battle, with singer Paloma Faith as her mentor.
She's a blues woman and she's a woman's woman, and I just felt that she would be a great fit for me, so I was really pleased when she turned. And it's tough because there's so much competition, but every team is so strong. I was just so flattered that she would put me in the same sort of at the same status as the other singers, that it was a real compliment to me to be surrounded by that talent and think that she's got faith in me.
But music is not the only love of her life.
I was literally, always into art as a child. I'd be singing into a spoon one minute and then in my colouring book the next, and so I still sing and paint. And it's like a real release for me when my life gets quite hectic. I like to paint. It helps me to wind down, and it's just all about expression with me. And I think a lot of people focus on whether the art is good or bad, and I think, well, art can be bad to one person and good to another, and it's all just about expression. So I literally will just use the canvas to splash all my tension out sometimes, and other times I really want to create something that's meaningful or symbolic.
As part one comes to an end, we bring you quiz time. Where can you find the oldest aquarium in the world? Is it A, Glasgow, B, Grimsby, or C, Brighton? Come back in part two for the answer. Welcome back to Digital Nation. Before the break, we asked you, where can you find the oldest aquarium in the world? The answer is C, Brighton. Opening in 1872, Sea Life in Brighton holds over 500,000 litres of water and is home to 150 maritime species. What do you do if you want to saddle up and race along with a pack of sled dogs? The answer is Aviemore, where STV Glasgow's Jennifer Rioch attends the 33rd annual Sled Dog Rally, where she took Frankie the Husky for a ride through the Cairngorms.
Today I've come up to a very wet and cold Aviemore for the 33rd annual Royal Canin Aviemore Sled Dog Rally. Tonight I get to have a go on one of the rigs. Hi. Can you just introduce who's going to be taking me along on the rig today?
This is Frankie. Frankie Alaska Malamute. And as you can see, very noisy.
He's a big boy as well.
He does talk a lot. So Frankie, all being well, will pull you up that hill, no problem.
What size of dog is he then? Is he a male dog? What
He's
kind
a
of
male
weight
dog.
is he?
Male dog, 45 kilo in weight, and about 26 inches at the withers. And that's the withers there in height.
He's got a big head.
He's a standard size Malamute.
He's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and he loves a chat.
He's out of court at the moment, so he's not as fluffy as what he should be. But
So are we going to stop round about here and head back up?
Yeah,
or a bit?
yeah, we'll set up about here.
And is it something that people can, is it easy to do? Because I'm quite keen, but I'm nervous. I don't know anything about it.
The only way you can learn is to do it.
Okay.
Right. Go, go, go. No, take your hands off the brakes completely. Hey, let him go. That's it.
Good boy.
Steady, steady, stop! Stop, 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 stop!
Excellent! I got a fair bit of mud in my eyes, but it was excellent.
It would be William Shakespeare's 400th birthday this year, and at Leeds University, the Bard is being included in a new display from its classic literature collection. The Brotherton Library is opening its special collections to the public, offering a journey through the university's extremely rare manuscripts and books, including a special piece by a Mr. Shakespeare.
As the famous line from Lovelabour's Lost goes, Beauty is bought by judgment of the eye. But all who come here will likely be taken aback by this new gallery. Its centrepiece is indeed Shakespeare's first folio, printed in 1623, and it's just a snippet of the extensive works on display here. Whilst the first folio is likely to be valued in the millions, other artefacts are quite simply priceless. The gallery has a total of over 200,000 items, and its collection has been made possible largely through the Brotherton Radcliffe family. Lord Brotherton, a benefactor of the university, amassed around 60,000 items in his latter years. With only 100 or so artefacts on display though, it makes each particular inclusion rather intriguing, and there's plenty to see. This Babylonian clay tablet, for example, is over 4,500 years old, and would you believe it's actually a recipe for barley? Whilst this is a 1st century fragment of Homer's The Iliad, of course about the siege of the ancient city of Troy, just small indications of how culturally and historically important this collection is.
Well, the University of Leeds is lucky to have 5 great designated collections, which have been deemed to be of great national and international importance. And this is an opportunity for us to bring material from those collections, ranging from literary material by the Brontes through to unique cookery books and First World War material, out to the front of the university for the people of Leeds. So, I mean, this is just beginning to scratch the surface of something like 200,000 printed books and hundreds of thousands of other pieces of manuscript material we could put out there, and objects and notebooks and photographs as well. Some of this material has been with us since the 1930s as part of the collection of Lord Brotherton, great benefactor of the university, and other items have been collected by the university during that period as well. And this is an opportunity for us to bring these together at the front of the university.
Now time for another foray into our kingdom of creativity in this week's Creative Kingdom.
So if Sheffield is the steel city, Manchester is Cottonopolis, Nottingham is the lace capital of the world, Aberdeen is Granite City, and London is the smoke, what does that make Birmingham? If you ask us, it should be called Plasticopia, and it's all down to this man, Alexander Parkes. Old Alex was an electroplating genius back in the mid-19th century. He even made a silver-plated spider's web for Prince Albert, and he racked up a staggering 66 patents on electroplating. But his finest achievement came in 1856, when he invented Parkesine, the world's first man-made plastic, making Birmingham the home of plastics. Just as well, it's not very hot in the Midlands. Proof once again that when it comes to creativity, innovation, and being fantastic with plastic, in from Mint.
To Nottingham now, where the next generation of TV talent is waiting in the wings. Lots of kids dream of being on TV when they grow up, but it's pretty rare to have the opportunity to pick the brains of a TV presenter. But that's what happened when Notts TV's Ian Chambers visited Hayden Primary School in Sherwood.
How many of you would one day like to be on the television? That's pretty much everybody. What would make you a good TV news reporter?
Well, I like asking people questions and I'm quite good at collecting information. Do you have any pets? Yes. And what type of pets do you have? Cats. And what cats do you have, like, what are they called? Mango and Earwig. And do you have, do you have any other pets? No.
Yes.
How much do you get paid?
Whoa! Okay, how much do I get paid? I get paid just enough.
While the high street is dominated by big brands, it's sometimes easy to forget the hidden gems that exist in independent shops and markets in many of our towns and cities. One such gem is St Nicholas Market in Bristol, and Made TV went along to find out just what is so special about this destination for shoppers and bargain hunters.
The sights, the smells, and the street food. St Nick's Market is the top of the list for tourists and Bristolians in search of bits and bobs, and now it's topped a list of the best indoor markets in Britain.
Oh, I think it was brilliant. Yeah, it was really good news, and I heard that last week. Although I'm not surprised by it, because I think St Nicholas Market totally deserves it. We especially get lots of compliments from men who seem to really like coming here because they can find things that are unusual and quirky, and the men always say they really like the atmosphere here, and people like to support independent traders. So
Established in 1743, St Nick's has changed with the times, and for one stall holder it's been his second home for 34 years.
Well, I'm very pleased, of course. Pleased for the stall holders, pleased for the public. Well, they've got such a variety of people here dealing in various things. It's attractive, it's friendly. Oh, slightly, because in the old days it was very, very small stalls. Now it's larger stalls and more broader businesses.
You name it, St Nick's has probably got it, and everything in between. It's a mix of new and old.
Well, a lot of the stuff we actually sell is old world. That's the best way I can put it. It's rather old world, but people like it. That toy that you went missing years and years ago, they suddenly see it again. We get our stuff from all over the place, Germany and so on. We just get on with doing what we do, and if that's good, then that's good for everybody.
While most of us are familiar with the Home Guard from the classic TV series Dad's Army, a group of reenactors in Oxford are focusing their energies, remembering and celebrating the valuable roles played by their real-life counterparts. That's Oxford met up with the group to find out more.
This was the headquarters of the Bicester Home Guard. It was the final of 4 different bases that they had around Bicester, but this is the one they ended up with at the end of the war period, or at least when they were demobbed. Yeah, we consider ourselves as the Launton Platoon, which was part of the Bicester Company, and that was part of the 2nd Battalion of the Home Guard. When we meet, we discuss the events that we shall be carrying on over the next few months. We have a cup of tea and a biscuit, and then time permitting we do some drill to keep ourselves in tune with what we're supposed to be portraying. So we do about half an hour or more drill if we can get it in. We use the original manuals from 1935 to check up on the drill that we do to make sure that it's accurate. And the weapons, etc. They are all Second World War weapons, and many of them are First World War that would have been reused again during the Second World War. The uniforms we wear are reproductions, but the weapons and the equipment, these helmets, they're all original 1940s equipment.
It's about comradeship more than anything else. Friends. I mean, we're all friends. I'm the officer commanding, but we all have a good laugh together, and I think that was part of the Home Guard setup anyway. There were the funny parts and the serious parts, and although we can't fire our weapons, then we have to go more for the friendly and serious parts. We're interested in all aspects of the home front, and we do try and portray the real Home Guard as it was, so that people will know that it's not Dad's Army.
And that completes our rundown of the best of local. If our stories have captivated you, then don't forget there's plenty more you can see on each of the local TV channels' websites. Or why not catch up on previous episodes of the show by visiting bbc.co.uk/digitalnation. So until next week, goodbye.